The runoff election in 4 hotly contested Denver City Council races ends next Tuesday. While a bit under the radar, the political battles in districts 2, 7, 10, and 11 have seemed to intensify. Todd, as you look at the races so far, again, the mayor's already been decided, the auditor's been decided, so this is really a big deal within those districts. But we're talking about 4 seats in the city council. That can change a lot of things in the Denver government. What's your estimation between now that we have 4 more days to Election Day?
My estimation on?
Just how it's going.
You know, I live in far east Denver, and I've seen virtually no political activity there. It may not be in one of the runoff districts, but you can tell how closely I'm paying attention. It seems like, you know, you drive through these little pockets of neighborhoods where you see yard signs that cover 2 blocks, and then immediately you're right back out into just regular old life again, and the campaign has stopped. You and I were talking off air about the seeming dichotomy in this race that it's all about housing and construction and you know the building in Denver, and nobody seems to be talking about the sheriff's office that much. I would agree that that's a failing of this campaign. How do you fix that? I don't know. The last thing I'd add is about a month ago, Complete Colorado, we broke a story that Aaron Greco, who's in one of these runoffs in District 7, he's basically being given free time off. I mean, he's not being paid, but CDOT has given him basically 2 or 3 months off to go run his campaign. If I worked at CDOT and I wanted to start a pizza joint, would they give me 3 months off to go do this? And so I think CDOT is hoping that they can put an ally as they go forward on that I-70 project. They're hoping they can have an ally on the city council once the dust settles from the election next week.
That's an interesting angle. Craig, you are no stranger to city politics, no stranger to city elections. What do you make of the runoff that we'll know the results from in 4 days?
Well, I'm a little jealous because when I ran in 1996, I had to leave my job and not make any money for a while I ran.
Well, to be clear, Aaron Greco's not being paid.
Okay.
But if he loses, he gets his job back.
Well,
so
yeah, if I would have won, I would have gotten back in the Denver DA's office. So I do think about those things, and we had some surprises in the first round, and I think that's attributable to no real interest in the mayoral election, limited turnout among people who are highly motivated. Now, when I ran, it was a general election, and it was really hard for an unaffiliated candidate to beat an incumbent Democrat in Denver. But we have a situation where an unaffiliated candidate, Wayne New, is running against a staunch Democrat, Miss Adams, in the Cherry Creek area. And
he's running with Anna Jones.
Or Anna Jones. Anna Jones versus Wayne New. Anna Jones is a well-connected Democrat, and Wayne New is unaffiliated, and there are whispers, oh my God, he once voted Republican or gave money to a Republican, which is the kiss of death in Denver, but maybe not in a small turnout election. And that area, thanks for correcting me, Cherry Creek is important because even though it's a neighborhood, we all go there, and it's looking like a downtown area. And is it going to work? I don't know. Of course, the other race that people around this table probably care about, Kevin Flynn, an alumnus of this table, and anybody I won an Emmy with, I have to support him. And Dom gave the great news that, again, another nomination for a time travel episode.
That's right. That's absolutely right. For our 8th in a row for our interview discussion program. And Kevin Flynn is versus John Kidd in District 2.
Kevin Flynn beat John Kidd. And John,
well, they're competing.
Right.
Natasha, it's kind of the inside baseball. There's some bitter battles going on, but as people drive around, like Todd mentioned, throughout the city, you may not necessarily pick up on it, but there's still a lot of feuding out there going on. It's still pretty bitter. What have you picked up?
Well, I think one of the key things for me and a major concern is the turnout, the low turnout that we had in the May election, and then hopefully what will not be a low turnout next week, but it probably will. The reason why is that if you spend any time looking at the city council agendas, you will be surprised by how busy that group is, in fact. You know, whether it's leading not only the city and the state and the country on legalization of marijuana, the camping ordinance, whether it's dealing with payouts for police brutality, they're making massive decisions that affect our city. And as we've already discussed with development and what happens with low-income housing and how people can actually afford to live in Denver, this is going to be huge. I'm going to take an educated guess and say that audience that's watching this show is probably politically involved already, but this is a great opportunity to, when you're out grocery shopping, ask your clerk if they voted. When you're walking down the street, make sure the people in your neighborhood are. Do whatever you can to make sure that people take care of this civic responsibility, because voting is so important.
Patty, the battle in your district is over with after the first round, but what do you think of the battles coming up in the second round?
Well, I think given what happened in District 1, where Susan Shepard, the incumbent, was ousted, partly because people identified her with developers and with incumbents in general, and I think people are very anti-incumbent these days, I think some of the people who seem tied to the establishment, like Anna Jones, it's going to be an issue on this race. I think we might see Wayne New elected. No matter who is elected, though, I think Michael Hancock is going to have a much tougher second term. We know that voters are upset about different things. We know that people both on the council and outside of the council are going to be angling to take over for Hancock when he's done with the second term. And so we're going to have a lot more posturing. We're going to have a lot more questioning of what he's doing.